Hi, everyone. Hello. You're welcome to Let's Discuss, where we talk about matters that impact on our lives. You're welcome in the name of our Lord Jesus. Hope we all had a wonderful week and a blessed week. I welcome you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Um, Today, we'll be talking about a very important topic. I started by saying everyone in the world is always talking about how we need to rush, how we need to do things better. I dare say there's even this school of thought that makes you feel bad about yourself by talking about the things you should have been doing, but you are not doing. That school of thought is what we'll be exploring today under the topic Run Faster. Run faster to where? Run faster from where? What are the intelligent things or choices that we have to make running even worth its while? Um, I'll start with a story that started some years ago. I have three stories today. Hopefully, I'll be able to get through all of them. The first starts with a woman who had this big idea of creating fake food. Um, so she tried, her name's Kelly Samantha Boyce. So she went, and what the thought she had was, let her create food, fake food, and let people try and use that fake food for either decorations or for movies or anything that people would need to present food, but is it real food? That was the idea she had. And she started off with that idea. But we can see that just before COVID, there was a point where the financials of that idea wasn't adding up to what she was bringing in terms of revenue. She then had to take four jobs. It's on record. She took four jobs just to keep body and soul together. But one thing she did was she didn't let go of that vision, of that idea. She continued in the COVID. And the first thing, or the first point under Run Faster, is you need to run slower. Um, in today's world, it's difficult for us to stop running completely because we have obligations, you have bills to pay, you have children to send to school, you have to eat, you have to pay for your rent, you have to dependents, people looking up to you. So it's difficult for us to say we want to stop running. But the first point, which I want to hammer on using this story, is the fact that we need to pause our running. The reason we need to pause running isn't to stop running, but to begin to understand some fundamental things. The story I'm talking about, I would use it to illustrate one or two of those things, and hopefully we'll begin to understand what this whole concept is and begin to draw some strength and encouragement from it all. The first thing about this lady, Samantha Boyce, is Kelly Samantha Boyce. She lives in a place called a rural place in Scotland. It's not a famous, it's like a fishing town. It's not a big place where you would say there are lots of people with money or lots of companies that have money to help with her business or her ideas. She lived in a rural place. She said during COVID, that now gave her the opportunity to work a bit harder on her business and work on creating fake food. Just imagine how funny that idea sounds. Creating fake food to sell to people. Um, she continued during COVID. She honed her skills. She paused running and she now thought to herself that, okay, how do I improve this? How do I take it to the next level? She now spent more time doing that. And when COVID was over, there was now a lot of films resuming. One of the films that approached her was Barbie, a multi-million pound or dollar film. They approached her, she supplied the food, and she now gets a lot of orders, and her business has thrived. At the point she was juggling all those things, it would have seemed like her dream was crazy. It would have seemed that it was not possible. But I want to also say something before we move on to the next point. The reason we need to pause is I've given us some information, which is what everyone usually gives. They'll give some information. But when we pause further, we'll begin to understand more about that information. This lady was able to, she came from a town, very rural town, called, is it Kirkbree or something, in Scotland. Like I said, it's not like a very big town. It's a town that not many people would even know. If I ask us, a lot of people won't even know where that place is. It's a fishing village. But there's some things there in that area. That town is known for artists. It's known for people who have been creative since 1814 or thereabouts. So it's a town. So her parents or grandparents would have that gift of creativity, of artistry, and she simply followed in that footstep. At first glance, when she's talking about being in a remote village, somewhere that is not well known, a lot of us will count it as a disadvantage. It would slow us down. It will make us feel tired. It will make us feel that I'm disadvantaged. I'm living in a village. I'm not even living in a big town. I don't have the right connections. I don't know what I need to do to make this work. She had to keep down 4 jobs in order to keep body and soul together. There might be some of us who are saying, this thing's not paying out. I'm not getting that money. I'm not getting the funding I want. But she persisted. She continued in that her idea, which a lot of people would have called crazy, that with fake food, why are you doing that? But she perfected it, that the food looked so real, so lifelike, that she's now getting orders from everywhere. But her foundation, or that village, is a village that historically is known for people with artistic tendency, creative tendencies. I think we need to pause as well and consider some of our backgrounds, where we're coming from. I know the African tendency is to always talk about ancestors and people in a bad light, and there were lots of fetish things that were done in the past. I understand that. But in our past lies the key, even to our future. The first step to run faster is to pause running and to begin to ask questions. Questions like, what were my ancestors known for? What were they good at? Because that key can be what could give you insight into some innate abilities, or some skills that you have that's in your blood, and all that needs to be done is to activate it. Um, don't just run faster. You need to pause the running to understand, am I doing it right? Do I have the advantages on my side? I know there are some disadvantages, but the disadvantages are not to keep you down. If she had been in another town, maybe she would have been distracted, but she was in a place, she was in a location which helped her to see the light. There's so many other scriptures or examples in the Bible of people being where they are. People like David, he was tending to the sheep in the wilderness. He didn't say, I need to be with others. He was in a place of responsibility. To run faster, we need to run slower. We need to pause. We need to understand, am I running right? Am I doing what I need to do? Because it's not about how far, it's about how well. And we need to encourage ourselves. This lady has now gotten so much orders that she cannot handle all those orders. She is always, now she's employing people, and things are now getting better for her. Stay in the game. Don't lose focus. Continue to push forward. Don't limit yourself. Don't feel disadvantaged. You need to run faster, but be slow. Consider, what are your skills? What do you need to improve? What do you need to establish? Who do you need to begin to talk to? Those are the things that will begin to help you to prepare for you to run faster. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. In a marathon, you run, 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 you pause, and you then continue. You assess what your strengths are. A lot of people just say, just do it, just do it. It's good. But if you don't understand some of your advantages, if you don't ask questions, you won't be able to unlock a lot of things about you that you never knew. That's the first point, that to run faster, we need to pause our running. We need to understand what our advantages are. You need to ask questions about your ancestors. What were they really good at? And using that, it begins to give you, I'm sure it's not all bad. Even if it's all bad, there's something good there because Christ has redeemed us. But the gifts of God are without repentance. The gift is given a particular generation. That's why some people are naturally good business people in their family. That's why you see some family, they have a family of lawyers, some they're families of doctors, some they're families of, how will I call it, accountants, families of engineers, family of traders. Your family history might be the key to what will distinguish you. Don't overlook it. You have to pause the running. Don't just go with the flow. Stay back, think about it, and begin to plan how to move further ahead. No wonder Jesus said, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? The foundation, your foundation matters. You need to understand, what's my foundation? What's the skills I have? Then you need to now say, what am I doing? How can I get it better? She didn't use COVID to go for parties or catch up on painting the house or things like that. She used that time to improve on her recipe. So that's the first point. The second point, in order to run faster, you need to run with purpose. Um, I've been someone who has been a bit critical about purpose and things like that, where because at times people in the world misuse it. Every inspirational speaker is talking about your purpose, even though very few people know their purpose. It's purpose is something that is gradual. You continue working through life. Your purpose is tomorrow. Tomorrow, what are you doing? Your purpose is the life you're living now. It's not a magical end. It's something, it's your day to day. Run with purpose, I'm saying, is that let's realize that time and chance happens to them all. There's a story about a Japanese lady many years ago. She was very good at playing tennis, lawn tennis. She continued playing lawn tennis. Her parents saw so much potential in her, and they said, "This lady is very good at lawn tennis. Let us all move to from Japan to the USA." They moved from Japan to the USA in order to support their daughter. She got to the USA. Just imagine that the parents, the father, the mother, and the siblings all relocated from people they know, people they love, people, their job prospects, their place in society, from their family to support their daughter. They all moved. And she continued with that journey of playing tennis. She got good coaches. But what now happened? What happened was that she continued and now had an unfortunate injury. The injury was so bad that she was told at the age of, I think, 18 that she will never be able to play tennis professionally. Imagine that the she's been building her life on this since she was 10. and she's been winning competitions. The parents believe in the talent, they believe in the skill. But at the age of 18, just when she was about to shine, she had an accident or an injury, which meant she can no longer play tennis any longer. At this point, many people would have given up. Many people would have said, there is no more hope. There is no longer any opportunity. Just imagine the embarrassment, the disappointment that, wow, we all moved here for this girl to do something. But instead of doing X, we now have to think about something else she will do. But what she did was she didn't give up hope. She went to study. Um, but because she was so passionate about tennis, she then began to study things like robotics. She now understood that the robots they were creating, their hands were so stiff. And she now felt we need to change this around. This wouldn't work anymore. What did she do? She now went to study another degree, neuroscience, and she was able to blend both disciplines and created something that is not only useful for tennis, but all these prosthetic hands and all these things. I've forgotten the name of the lady. If I remember, I'll put it in the chat. She was able to create something great out of a disappointment. Run with purpose. It's not just about running faster, it's about running with purpose, because when you run fast or even slow, you will trip, you will fall. At times, there are so many challenges that will crop up, things you didn't plan, things you didn't expect, which is why even Jesus said in the Bible is written that the righteous shall fall, 7 times, but shall get up. We need to run with purpose. The things God has given to you, even if it seems it's not working out, there can be a bigger picture there. There can be something else that God has in store. But if you keep on looking at what you don't have or what you've lost, you remain there. And that's why we need to begin to run with purpose. We need to begin to understand that if God has told us something and we feel that fire in us, even if it's not working out, there's something similar that can help. The owner of FedEx, I know we all know FedEx. FedEx is a international courier company. When he submitted the FedEx business plan at a prestigious business school, when he did his MBA, he was given a C. He wasn't given an A, which is distinction, or a B, very good. He was given C, which is average, uh, by professors. Let's think about it. Someone has this big dream and has shared it has done a lot of research, spoken to a lot of people, shared it with business minds, top professors, and all that in the American MBA program he was on. And they turned around and gave him C, that this is sort of like, barely average. He would have given up hope. He should have said, that's it, game over. But he continued, and today the rest is history. Run with purpose. What's that thing that is discouraging you? What are those facts that are making it seem that you can't achieve what you want to achieve? I want you to begin to understand those facts. Don't just ignore them. Understand it, but make it better. Run with purpose. Purpose doesn't wait for anyone. Purpose is not there for you to mess around with. The battle of life is actually the battle of purpose. That will you be able to do the things God has placed in your heart to do? Because when you don't do them, at the end of life, you will feel unsatisfied. You'll feel unhappy with yourself. But it's time to now begin to look forward, to moving forward. It's time to begin to run with purpose. I've said the first point is you need to run slowly, taking what is working, what's not working, taking your skills, understand your history, get feedback from people. And the second thing is run with purpose. Disappointments will come, hitches will come, embarrassments will come, but you just need to stick to it. You need to keep running the race. No, nothing was easy. People say Rome wasn't built in a day. that means there were lots of disappointments on the way. There will be times where things went the wrong way, but people still persisted. Before I say the third point, I just want to get a few thoughts from us as well. So, what do we think the third point will be? If someone were to ask you around run faster, we've talked about, 1 point, 2 points, running with purpose. We've talked about run slower. What do you think is so critical in the race we're running? I just want to get a few contributions from everyone. What do we think the third one will be in terms of running our race, in terms of moving forward? What do we think the third point will be? It's a bit quiet. I don't know if it's me not seeing all the comments. Okay, do research. Okay, thanks, Yossi. Yeah, that's right. She said, do research. Anymore. And please, this is not a trick question. I won't just say, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong. It's for us to learn. Let's discuss isn't a forum where someone has all the answers. The interaction helps build some of the answers. There are some things one does not know as well, some things I don't know that I've learned from yourselves. So please share. I like the do research one, because to move forward in life, at times we don't do the research. It's now, oh, if I'd known, I wouldn't have put my money in that business by Uncle Victor. Uncle Victor said the business would go well, and I decided to put my money in that business. Uncle Victor said this, said that. At times we don't do our research. Want to ask any other contributions? I don't know if there's some contributions on Facebook. Let me just try and see, because at times the software takes a while to pull it through. Yeah, maybe 1 more minute as we begin to wrap up. Okay. So what she said about do research is is interwoven with the third point I want to say. The third point I want to say is that, okay, stay true to yourself. Yeah, I like that as well. Stay true to yourself, do research, stay true to yourself. The For me, the final point, and I agree, you need to do that research. So let's take that as well as additional points. You have to do research, because not doing research at times leads us through paths of, unprofitability. People call it activity without results. It leads us to keep doing something or banging our head against the wall when we should have understood that this isn't working and moved forward. Then we need to stay true to ourselves. For me, the final thing I would say in terms of this topic is that understand that you can't run forever. Nobody will be able to run forever. Our running is for a limited time. Therefore, we need to be fully focused and committed in terms of our running. We need to understand that our running is time bound. We need to understand that we don't have all the time in the world to do our running. We need to understand that time wasted cannot be regained. You can regain money, you can regain relationships, you can regain. I know some people might want to to disagree that you can't regain money, but you can regain money, you can regain wealth, you can regain position, you can regain most things. One of the things you can regain is time and maybe and health. Those two things are critical. So let us run the race carefully. Let us run the race deliberately. Let us not start thinking about one day. Let us start thinking tomorrow. Let us start thinking, I'm actually living my life. This is my life. It's not about, in a few years' time, I'll be able to do this or do that. No, it's about what are you doing now? There was a quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, some people die at the age of 25, but are buried at the age of 75. What it means is that some people lose their focus, their vision, their fire at a young age and just live life. And at the age of 75, they get buried. That wouldn't be your story. That wouldn't be what how it's going to end for you. I just want to encourage you. God has great plans for you, but you have to follow through. You have to run faster. You have to pause, understand what you are doing. Then you need to run with purpose, knowing that there will be trips, there will be tricks along the way. You need to overcome them. You need to stay true to yourself as you're going through. Don't do this race for people. Don't do things to impress people. Do your research. Make sure that you are not heading in the wrong direction. And finally, always keep at the back of your mind that time is nobody's friend. Time is nobody's enemy. It depends on how you use it. We all have 24 hours. How are you using us? Don't start thinking about next year, next 5 years. Think about tomorrow. Think about what you will do, and God will begin to bless you all. So thank you all, everyone, for joining in. Your contributions, support, encouragement, offline and online, are the reasons why we continue doing this. Personally, I'm learning a lot as well from this. So it's a journey that I didn't have a lot of the answers, but God has been helping. And I just want to thank you all. Let's look forward to a few more sessions. We'll be talking a bit more about flow. We'll be talking a bit more about finances. We'll be talking a bit, there'll be some music content and a few other things in the coming weeks and months. But the most important thing is try running faster. Don't be slowing down. Don't remain stagnant. Don't stay where you are. It's time to move ahead, and God will help you. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful week ahead. And remember, the race of life is real. You are running it whether you like it or not, but you need to move faster because overtaking is allowed. Don't overrun so that you fall down. But even when you fall down, get up because God has got your back and God is cheering you on. And you will win this race. You will win your race and people will celebrate you. God bless you all. Have a great week ahead. Love you and take good care of yourself. The race and the battle is not for the strong or the race for the swift, but of the Lord that showeth mercy. He will show mercy to you. Have a great week. Love you all. Thanks. Bye.
And you will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. It's a simple chorus. You will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. Help me sing. You will never, 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 never. You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified. Oh, you will never, 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 never. and you